Are we recording already? Oh, we are? Okay. It's murky out, but I normally love days like this, but I'm not feeling well. I'm so tired. I did not sleep again last night. Had nightmares. You name it. I won't go
Do you want to
on.
share your nightmares?
They all had to do with like animal rescue and human cruelty towards animals, and I was like, I don't know if I really want to go there because I don't want to relive it, but it was basically, you know how sometimes when you dream and you think you may have died in the dream, but you'll never die in the dream or else you'll die in real life. I don't know if that's just an urban legend or a wives' tale, but anyway, I didn't die, but I was getting in the way of animal abuse, and like it was just about to happen, and then I think it happened, but it didn't because I woke up.
Okay.
Am I making any sense at all?
Yes. Interesting. But I mean, dreams always mean something. So it's like, is it because of that dog thing that you told us about last time?
Well, no, there's there's been 1,000 since then, unfortunately, because they happen like all over the world, millions of times a day, even in our own country. I mean, in the United States, every year we euthanize like 100 million dogs. Like it's some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And by the way, I just pulled that number out of my butt, but
I'm sure
extremely
it's higher than that, unfortunately.
I mean, it's millions just in like LA County alone. You know what I mean?
Dogs, cats, rabbits.
If you put together all the animals that are like in the care of the state, like humane societies aside, any like shelters, they'll take in, like if somebody find a peacock roaming around in the street, they'll take in the peacock, a pig, a goat, a snake, any animal. And those animals, they all have a expectancy date. You know what I mean? A life expectancy. And if and that can shrink based on like how busy it is. Those other like farmed animals where they're ill-equipped to keep them comfortable, and if they're injured, forget it. They'll euthanize immediately. Those animals that it's a hardship for them, they kill sooner than the others. Anyway.
I do have some good news on that front. I don't know if you saw, I'll send it to you. PBS just did an update on the story. But this lady, I can't remember her name. She started a organization to raise money, to build the wildlife overpass.
Oh yeah, I saw
in
that.
LA.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
For P22. He made it from one side of Los Angeles to the Hollywood sign area in the Griffith Park.
Yeah.
Before anyone realized, and it like shocked a lot of people that something that big and that much of a predator was just lurking around the city. So
also because to do that, to where they like mate and hunt and like roam, it's the expanse
it's restricted. Yeah,
it's huge, but also they used to always have to cross over the 405.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like 10 lanes.
Exactly, and they get hit by cars.
Yeah,
and they have to cross because I saw in the PBS video, like the one side of the population now has these weird curved ends on their tails because they're inbreeding, and they're like, there's probably a lot of other health issues that we can't even see, but that's just like one of the things they've already noticed. So the wildlife bridge, she took her 10 years, $90 million, and it's being built currently.
You gotta love, I saw the renderings of it.
Yeah.
And then they published recently, I think it was just last month, where they published how it's for sure going to look like, and then they published the construction video.
Yeah.
So when is it supposed to be done again?
I will double check the date, but let me see.
Speaking of animal travels, Buford, the Anatolian Pyrenees, did you hear about that dog? This kid went missing for 7 days in Arizona.
Yes, I just saw that this morning. I showed my mom the video of the rancher guy.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm glad the dog found him.
Oh, see, I didn't see him speaking. I just read the article.
Yeah, he was just like confused.
But the article sounds like the way you just imitated him sound like it came across in the article where I didn't even hear.
And I can do the imitation. I'm originally from the South,
so you're allowed. Yeah,
allowed.
It's not like.
Did you see? He was like, he said that it's not the first time that the dog's done something like that. He's adopted goats and I think piglets that get like run to the litter or them.
They get abandoned, yeah.
And the dog is with like a little baby goat. It was adorable.
Well, because the dog wants to protect, he protects his land from coyotes and other predators, but also wants to like protect those that inhabit the land that need protection from the predators. It's such an interesting thing. What he said in the article was like, that dog was going to take care of that kid. As soon as he found that kid, he wasn't going to let him go.
Yep.
So the entire last mile or more, the dog was with the kid.
Insane.
And that's probably how he survived.
Oh, definitely.
And the way that we treat animals, not just dogs, but all animals, it makes me sick.
They said there were 2 mountain lions in the area that the kid was.
Oh, totally. 100%.
And by the way, speaking of mountain lions, early 2026,
that's great.
Bridge will be finished. I did see, like, my dad said, like, how's the mountain lion going to know to go over the bridge? And I was like, they eventually learn. And I saw studies from Canada and
the sound of cars Portland. Now, the lights.
It's like, it took a few years, but they did figure it out. It was like initially, like, bigger, like, grazers, deer and whatever were the first, but more cautious mountain lions took a few years to actually trust that it was safe.
You would see them walking on the side of like the freeway with people going way too fast.
That's crazy. I've never seen one.
Oh, I have several times actually. Yeah, no, I mean we're in their habitat in LA, places like Arizona, whatever. Like that's mountain lion territory.
Yeah.
So that's really.
But at least some things are happening, and if you pursue your passions, you care about something, it's going to take a long time. And I'm sure she thought many times like nothing would happen, but she raised $90 million.
No, I love people like that because people, I think,
because the state was never going to do anything. I don't know why.
Well, no, we both know why. That's what we talk about in our podcast. We know that the problem is getting even worse.
California's like environmentally friendly and save the endangered species, but it's like your city is killing and about to fully eradicate mountain lions, which have been here for hundreds of thousands of years in this area, and we're fine with that?
No, it's progress. Horrible. California is like a trendsetter in so many ways and leads the way in so many ways, and is for sure the best state in the union. But by how much, I don't know. And by the way, like if you're the best,
Vermont is.
You're a Bernie baby, so I get that. I'm basing it on like environmental focus and forward thinking, and California is,
for the most part, because we did discuss like we've got to get it changed here in California. I don't know how we get it on the ballot, but we're revoking that conjugal visits in prisons.
I know
that should not be allowed anymore.
I think the few people I have talked to about that, everybody with no regard for their political stance, they all agree. There's so many things that...
It's a bipartisan issue.
That are bipartisan issues. Like, we should just hammer out the thousands of those, the litany of bipartisan stuff, so that we can get through the next couple of years, because it's just looking so damn bleak. And it's kind of easy to put your head in the sand, but that's not what we need to do. We need to do like the Bernie Brigade of like him and AOC, and they're like... people, that's our poo pile, like people over oligarchy, but they call it, I think, fighting oligarchy, or like, anyway, he went to Coachella, like they're on tour. I hope he runs for president with her as his vice.
His events were always like rock stars, because young people are very excited about someone saying things that we're usually told, be quiet, never going to happen, not possible, except in Europe and the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Never going to happen here.
No, I mean, and his, like, the thing about Bernie is that, and this isn't the I Love Bernie podcast, but for the last episode and maybe a little bit of this one, it kind of is, because I was never a fan. I didn't know that much about it. Obviously, I'm a Democrat, but like the more I learn about the baggage in our party and all of the hypocrisy and all the crap that led us to Trump's second term, the more I buy into this guy who's been saying the same shit since he started like 50 something years ago.
Yep.
Like there's something to be said for like consistency and honesty and transparency. Like he said this, you'll never catch him saying different stuff. Now, Granted, he's not talking about like other progressive, like I think flubs, like, and some misperceptions on like being light on crime, because to me, a real progressive is not going to be light on crime. They're going to be for prison reform, but not for having people get off on, like, murderers get off on easy sentences. Like, it's not like a Gascon DA in LA thing where he doesn't prosecute. You still have to prosecute.
And
you just have to reform all of our systems.
14% lower than the national average in violent crime is 42%
in California?
lower. No, in Vermont than the national average. 14% crime rate and 42% of violent crime.
I hope I was recording. I just fuss with. It's cold in here, so I like.
You're good. A little foam thing should prevent that.
I mean, Vermont is.
No, but I'm just saying, like, to your point, like, Bernie is not a socialist, free all the prisoner.
Yeah, he didn't mention stuff like that because I think
his policies work. He doesn't have to talk about those things because that is like.
And he didn't talk about.
It's like a red
immigration
flag for the bulls, so everyone can be directed into one direction. It's like
that's how Trump won.
A distraction.
Even people like me that kind of know what the score is a little bit, like I'm susceptible to it because I see and read and take in all of the pain of these people that have suffered through tough crimes, even if it's just in watching an episode of 48 Hours, like earlier this morning. It was unbelievable what people will do. And you see these murderers getting away with plea deals and having a couple years here and there, sometimes time served, sometimes they get off. We all know our legal system is so broken. It's not about not punishing those that should be punished even more severely. It's about reforming the system where we can't punish those people for fear of these innocent people being railroaded.
Yeah.
It was just this woman named Melissa Kolinsky. Anyway, she was, I believe, railroaded by the police into making a false confession. They had no other evidence. Melissa Kolinsky. She was a daycare worker. I think it was like almost 10 years ago now. It might have been over 10 years ago. Maybe even 15 years ago now. But she's serving a 31-year prison sentence because they said that she threw a baby down and caused a skull fracture, which led ultimately to the baby's death. She was in there for like 8 hours. She said, "No, I did not do this. I didn't do any of this." And she's, by the way, she's considered she's a little slow, mentally. But was a lover of kids, never had a problem, all this. She was in the police investigation for 8 hours and they just hammered her and kind of like insinuated like, "Hey, just tell us what we need to hear. We know accidents happen. Tell us what we need to hear. And we're done with this. We can all be done with this." And she took that to mean she can go home. She even said "Look, I'm looking forward to telling you what you need to hear because I want to go home to my family and my puppies." She even said that. So she's not garnering, they're trying to pressure her into a confession where she's never going to go home again. And over and above that, so she was ultimately convicted. But it's turned out there's all this new evidence that's come up, including that the prosecution or somebody in the coroner's office, one of the two, because it was in state's control, somebody manufactured or tinkered with the x-ray. That's the smoking gun, is the x-ray of the kid that says that he had a skull fracture after she, so that x-ray was handled by the state and an expert a company that was hired to analyze it said unequivocally that the state manipulated this x-ray to make it look more severe. So what's happening with Karen Reed, it's getting so crazy that I see on one side, we can't have the death penalty because we're going to kill innocent people at some point. But I see on this other side, we have to fix the system so we can kill the right people and we don't kill the wrong people and those people that really need help. Those low level offenses. By the way, I just read about a non-violent offender got 45 years. So we're having multi-murderers serving a fraction of the sentence that somebody who has committed a non-violent crime would serve. That's and crazy. It's this imbalance of justice. Right time, right place. If you have the right amount of money, whatever it is, it sways justice so often that we can't trust our system anymore. We can't trust it.
I mean, OJ was
oh my God, OJ, Bill Cosby. Who's that bitch that killed her kid? What's Casey Anthony? And she's got a special now out. Enough is enough. I mean, I think the hands-off movement is going to evolve into something even bigger because I think people are really fed up. We talked about that last week. We don't have to go there. But I do love Bernie. I do want to talk more about Bernie, but I also want to, because I want to learn more about this guy, because the more I read, the more I'm fantasizing about better days, and it's making me feel optimistic. But I'm also feeling he had 36,000 people in California and 12,000 in Idaho, but Right now, we have a president and an administration that is so dangerous and so effed up and so power hungry that they're going to upend America as we know it. If we give them the chance.
Yeah.
We got to pull out all the stops and people like Chuck Schumer and like, who's the chick from Michigan again? Whitmer. I'm sick of Democrats with baggage. Gavin Newsom, who had like Steve Bannon on his podcast, spouting all these lies and he didn't even correct them. Like, I'm tired of Josh Shapiro, Brad Hutto, Gavin Newsom, Mayor Karen of LA, who's like the worst mayor of all time.
I do not want her to be our governor.
I don't either. But she's, again, lesser of so many evils, but it's like.
Katie Porter should run.
Katie Porter I like, but she lacks that polish. She's not aesthetically pleasing. All the things that we talk about as the future of the Democratic Party, how we win, that's the problem. Is I like her. I think she's a good politician as far as they go.
That's the thing. So she's not really a politician. She's becoming more so.
She's becoming more so.
But she was on the financing or the housing committee and, she was looking into all the predatory practices and they had her taken off that committee. They put her into oil because they're like, oil execs still crush her. And they wanted her gone from that too. She's like, why are we,
they put her in the lion's den.
Yeah, they try, once the lobbyists are like, no, get rid of her. We don't want her asking these questions. Get her out of here. Because all the, what is it? The C-SPAN? All the, hearings are public. Yeah. So you wind up getting them clips and she gets in her one-liners. Then the daily shows, show the, credit card executives having their butts whipped, the oil execs having their butts whipped. And they're like,
no, she's boisterous.
Get it out.
I like her message, but it's that little blip isn't enough. Like every one of those things has to go viral for her to make the impact. And she's got to appeal. She's got to have more appeal. She's appealing to people like you and me, but that's not the reach that we need to keep. We got to.
And I think she doesn't have that reach yet, so she's worried about losing. So that's why she said if Kamala runs, she would bow out. But
Kamala has more name recognition, but she has the recognition.
But what is she going to do for California? Like,
nothing.
What's her plan? Nothing.
Basically, we would have a former VP and former president candidate as our governor, and that's a big deal. You know what I mean? And she's from California, so it's like, but like in her campaign, she didn't really say or do anything that was groundbreaking. So I don't think it's going to be groundbreaking when she's here.
Exactly.
And that's part, I think
actually, she was really bad when she was the,
is that right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't feel that way, but I live in a different California than I think most people.
Parents of, truant children. And it's like all those parents, it was like they're working 2 or 3 jobs to afford money for housing and they tell their kid what to do, but your kid is a kid.
I mean, look, we can't have truancy, but are there bigger fish to fry?
Don't prosecute the parents for that who have no choice. Like they live in this. What are you going to do? You can't move. You don't have money to move. What do you do?
I mean, there are some cases that, but again, you can't just have like anything goes and.
No, but have the state put more of a,
there's too many. We're talking about probably 50,000 cases. Like, how are they going to be? Oh, this case, this woman did everything right, but she's got to work 3 different jobs. They have to verify all this stuff, by the way, because you can't trust anybody because everybody's a big liar anymore. So it's like, at some point, like if this was Nebraska, then yes, you're not going to be prosecuting that because you can in those, 100 cases or so, you can manage that. But the caseload is, and to me, look, I don't even know if this is factual. Again, this podcast is about our opinions. I think we know something, but we're not portraying everything we say is 100% fact. We never say that. That being said, I can't imagine that they're focused on truancy if it's something that they can manage. It's because of the numbers and they just have to go by the book. That's why crimes.
Here's the official. Passed in 2011, with the help of Kamala Harris, the law allowed district attorneys, which she was, to charge parents with a misdemeanor if their children miss 10% of the school year without a valid excuse.
Yeah, I think that's idiotic. There's so many bigger things to be.
Low-income parents. I'm just saying, her policies, and then smoking weed, but also criminalizing weed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't agree with any of this. Do I hate on Kamala? Based on what's happening right now in our country, this crap about Kamala, to me, is a distraction because it's so We're talking about a president and an administration right now that wants to make voting so much harder for like a huge swath of this country. Like we're talking about women and low income residents. Like he's requiring that they have a passport or driver's license to change their voter registration, among other things. He's abolishing certain, aids for other countries. And there's all of these acronyms for all of these organizations, but he's trying to abolish like 92% of them.
USAID that he stopped that program.
I was reading an article from one of the managers in that program and then another that wanted to remain anonymous because she's scared. People are scared of our own government. All these federal workers are being laid off, or fired or in lawsuits or what have you. Like our whole government, our whole American society is in tumult. And it wasn't that way a couple months ago. Was it great? No. Do we have a ton of problems? That it's kind of like deferred maintenance on your house, right? There's been so many years of deferred maintenance. A lot of which was under like Joe Biden and even Obama, but also under Trump and Bush. And this has been going on forever. And it's just gotten so much worse. It's escalated just like our debt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to me, I just think like we as free thinkers and citizens and one independent and one kind of like, God, I almost want to, if the independent party had enough people, I would go independent because I believe more in those principles. But one independent and one Democrat, we need to be focused on toppling the current administration and putting in good people that are going to make a difference, that are not the same baggage bullshit of the Democratic Party, which includes all those people I named earlier. And these are some of the biggest names in our Democratic Party. What are we going to do? What are we just going to? Who's we, anyways? You and I have no power in the Democratic Party. Who's the we in all of this? Like Chuck Schumer is capitulating, Gavin Newsom is capitulating, Gretchen, whatever her name is, Gretchen Wiener. That's the chick from Mean Girls. Who's Gretchen, the governor of Michigan? Not Gretchen Wiener. Her dad invented toaster strudel on Mean Girls.
Gretchen Wiener.
Whitmer. Like. All these, I don't like them, and I'm a Democrat. Come on, we got to do
that is exactly what I am trying to say. Like, yes, the whole country, well, a lot's going on, but
big
our
stuff
governor,
is going on.
Okay, when Gavin Newsom was going to be recalled, there was CalCare up for vote. Okay.
I don't know what CalCare is.
CalCare would have been a universal healthcare for California.
Oh, that's what CalCare. Oh, got it. Yes, I read the articles about this universal like healthcare.
Yes, it would have been amazing. Basically, Bernie Sanders Medicare for All being enacted in California. Like we have that power. We have state rights. Okay, we have the power. The federal government can make rules and laws, but we have power as a state.
I don't remember them ever using the term CalCare, and I just read an article about that a couple months ago.
CalCare.
They use Medicare for All, and they did. Bernie was mentioned in that article like 2 different times.
That was the plan name.
Did it ever change? Because this article, to my knowledge, and again, it's been a couple of months, but they never mentioned the name CalCare.
No. I will look it up.
Is that something that's widely known? CalCare?
CalCare, especially,
and it never happened though, right?
Especially in the Democratic Socialist community, we were all pushing for it. But no, what happened is...
I thought you weren't a socialist.
Democratic Socialist, meaning I believe in a free market system that is democracy with a social safety net. So we protect our citizens. That is the social...
Medicare
we have Social Security. We call it Social Security. So I just want a social safety net for everyone. Blue Cross gave him $2.2 million. And he killed CalCare after that.
Wow. I didn't think that a company, I guess they could in various ways.
They donated to his campaign $2.2 million and he killed CalCare.
Wow. I didn't know they could donate that much at one time.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. I mean, what are we going to do?
There's on behalf of Newsom, so a super PAC. So they're running ads for him. They're not giving him the money directly, but they ran ads for Newsom and supported his efforts in campaigning into the tune of $2.4 million. Sorry.
I mean, the problem I have with what's going on now is the Republican Party, to me, is destroying America, which needed all the help it could get before they got their hands on the White House again. So my concern is that all this division in the Democratic Party, you and I included in that. I never thought I would be here, but I'm here. I'm agreeing with you on a lot more stuff than I thought I would. And I'm ashamed that this is our party. And I don't like some of the leaders, but what do we do?
Yeah.
What do we do? But
Well, we have a choice to make.
don't we have a common enemy? Don't we have all of this
Yes.
stuff to save and to fix and to protect? And how are we going to do that if we're even more divided? We didn't win the last election. We still have to take back the Senate and the House in the midterms. How are we going to do that if people like you and I are feeling deflated and unmotivated to support our current leaders in the Democratic Party?
I think
What do we do?
it's starting, like, we'll find our way. And I mean, this is one of the ways we're doing it, just by talking about these things, you know, and having open discussions and questioning, like, you didn't like Bernie Sanders before, but now you're
I didn't know enough about. I didn't dislike him, but I
You said,
never thought
like,
of
the
myself
Democratic
as a
Party, what you saw,
socialist.
he was, yeah, you didn't want to mess with the socialist.
Because I just didn't, because I am not a soft on crime, soft on immigration person, and I, in my delusion, thought that he was like that. Now he's not talking about it now, and I honestly I don't know what he used to talk about before, but I don't want to be soft on those things.
You should watch the videos. Not only is it like adorable in ways, like he's talking to kids about smoking and doing drugs, and it's like we're talking about little kids.
You just love
exactly
this.
the same.
You just like this guy. So like I can't help
He was
but
talking
like
to
him and
emos
respect him.
in like the mall and asking them, why do you dress like that? And they're like, we feel disenfranchised by the system. It's like 1980s.
What's a chemo?
An emo. Like emo. You know, like black eyeliner, the black hair,
I didn't know
black
that they were
everything.
called.
Emo.
An emo is like a drag.
A what?
A drag from like
A drag.
my time was like
I guess.
long. Well, a drag was more of like somewhere between like I guess what you're describing as an emo and a headbanger. A drag
Punk
was just
rock,
like
yes, that's
punky, like dark eyes,
exactly.
dirty hair,
Like
usually
grunge.
longer. Yeah, grunge before grunge was
Yes.
a drag,
A drag.
but now a drag,
Drag.
D-R-E-G.
I want to see it.
Yeah, we used a lot of D words back then. Dweeb, drag, derelict. Well, that's still
Derelict is still a word, yeah.
I use it more often now than ever because I think there's more derelicts out. The problem is that society is going in the wrong direction. I've said this, I think, every episode we've had. I apologize to our listeners. I'm having a mental health still, like, ish. Obviously,
I think we all
like,
are, you know.
This gloomy weather, and granted, it's going to be like 100 degrees before you know it, so let's just enjoy it. But like the gloom and bleakness of America, like I'm just feeling like so damn crusty. Really, like I didn't sleep last night. I don't know. Like, and the Republican recession is looming, and it would all be their fault. I'm sorry. Like, we inherited this from Biden. Yeah, Biden sucked, but the economy was booming, baby. It was fine. It was like one of the few things that was actually great. And like, even that has been tattered now. So like, I can't give as much as I used to. I can't do what I used to. Like, all of my disposable income all went to charity. All of it. Even some that I didn't have would go to charity. Like, I overspent on charity and to help animals and to help those that can't.
Maybe that's part of the dreams.
I'm having
You're
nightmares
trying to rescue all of them
about,
because you can't.
yeah. But I have to try. And I'm finding like, sometimes I'm like, I'm having a tough time going on. Like, I'm having a tough time living. And if I'm having a tough time, how about the people that are working 3 jobs? How about the single mothers out there? How about
All our single moms out there.
yeah, I mean, and I think about them too. And even if they voted for Trump, I worry about them. So what the hell's wrong with me that I'm worried about their sorry asses? They got us into this mess, but I still care and I still worry. And I've been obviously reading a lot of tidbits here and there the past couple of weeks, trying to see some sanity in it all. And, oh my God, I just remembered what I actually wanted to talk to you about was, do you know about A1, right?
A1? The sauce?
The steak sauce.
Yeah.
Well, Linda McMahon, she's in charge of our education department now. She said that, I'm paraphrasing a bit here, but she essentially said that all schools should have access to A1. And A1, the company, because she obviously confused A1 with AI, A1, the company, sees on it, hey,
She read a
look,
teleprompter. Is that what?
I honestly don't
Which
know.
means she didn't even come up with this idea. Someone wrote this for her. She has no idea
And
what
she
she's doing.
misread it.
And
Yeah.
yes, exactly.
It just is so.
And that's funny that the first thing her mind went to when she saw.
She was probably hungry. It was probably 11:59. She's ready for lunch. So the
A1
company that makes
hot
A1
sauce.
came up with like a new ad campaign, like, hey, you know, they're telling you, you start them early. Here you go. And it's just a picture of A1. Like, it was much funnier than that. But to me, like,
No,
that,
I'm glad
the
that they're
person,
capitalizing on it.
it's so, but I mean, look, everybody has their flubs, God knows, but it's like, but this person shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Yeah, it shows you don't know what you're doing.
And if you're flubbing on funny, dumb stuff like that, what about the stuff that really counts? That's not going to go viral. That's not like a funny moment to end up on social media. You know what I mean? Like, what about the real stuff that has to happen that is probably getting like catastrophically bombed by these Republican morons?
Yeah.
I'm trying to find hope in all that. Like, I kind of wanted to do a podcast about our favorite podcasts this week, but I don't know if we're going to go to that. I'm not feeling like that. Is that okay with you if we don't talk about that stuff?
I will, again,
I kind of want to, but
plug Breaking Points podcast because
I got to put that on
their views are, you know, they go through this, like the more heavy stuff that we sometimes avoid because it's too much politics. You get a actually fair and balanced view, and they try to, you know, find the silver lining.
Oh, but they're a political show, right?
Yeah, they're a politics.
Do you know that when you look up our podcast, it says political?
It's one of the things it says, yes.
It only says political, though. Will you check that?
Well, did you double check? Because I added the other tags. I saw that it was just saying political on
oh, you did? Okay.
Apple. Yeah, and
this was like a week ago I logged in.
I added RSS. Let me add 3. And then
what's RSS?
Our hoster, how we host on our podcast. And then the Finder site that anyone can go to search.
Okay, so you changed that so we're not
I added lots, yeah.
Because we do, and look, I'm susceptible to it too because I want to educate myself and be more open-minded. And I'm listening to you and I'm listening to other people and I'm reading more about how these problems started, what the root of them were, and how can we stop them? How can we stop some of these problems on all sides, you know? And so I'm trying to like be a lot more savvy, but I think being open-minded is one thing, but right now it's like, I want to be more of a fighter, like that chick that got the, you know, the wildlife crossing. Like, now's the time to fight, not to like.
Well, I think because there are so many problems, like, where do you start? You know, what do I do? What do I tackle?
I'm just trying to tackle today right now, and I'm having a tough time even with that.
And I'm sure programs, especially with the federal government cutting basically everything, shelters, whatever, that are run by the city probably are going to get less money. So maybe there's something you can do in fundraising for, you know, shelters, especially no-kill.
Oh my God, I'm so scared for the animal. But you know what? I find myself scared for everybody else but me, and I'm having the mental health crisis that's now, you know, going on like 2 weeks, 3 almost. And how am I, but I got to figure it out because it's the thinking like that keeps us defeated. And if I'm not helping people, that means other people aren't helping people, and someone's got to help. Like, I'm more of like an animal and kids and old people person because they're the ones that can't help themselves.
Yeah.
So I'm like, everybody else, do your thing to help anybody else in between. But those are my focuses. And I'm like, if something happens to me, then what? You know, it's like, and by the way, I don't do as much as I want to. So I'm not the end all.
I think you're underestimating how many people are out there helping. Like, when I look at Nextdoor, because they get community alerts and stuff, when people find like kittens or lost dogs or whatever, they're like, my house is already full, but if you don't know how to take care of them or milk them, like, I'll find room. Like, a lot of people, like, in apartments and stuff, are like, I can, you know, make a little extra room. Does anyone have a crate? Like, people share stuff. Are
you feeling that that's a new thing, that more people seem to be stepping
like you have to find, like, people would do that, but there needs to be a way, a method for them to find, you know, something to help with. if people do need help. And Nextdoor enabled that. So what I'm saying basically is there are ways out there. You just find them of how you can help, and you can feel fulfilled by your help.
And is that something that on a broader scale that maybe Democrats can take a little like piece of that and apply it to what's happening now in our government?
Yeah, get off their pedestals, stop accepting corporate money, and listen to your community.
They need to do a 180.
Screaming, and in the streets now, finally, telling you what we want. We don't want Social Security cut. We want the Elon guy gone, Alanya, whatever. And
they're saying deport the space Nazi. Those signs from the hands-off movement, they got.
I love that.
I'm sure there's shirts and sweatshirts and every like merch under the sun, but some of them were really hysterical. No Country for Old Men, like Deport the Space Nazi was my favorite because the guy was like this older guy. He's just smiling.
I'm pretty
he's
sure
having
I saw
a good
that.
day.
Yes.
Like, and he's holding up this sign like, bam. And you know what? Like, if somebody finds that term offensive, oh well, like we're in really offensive times. Like we're talking about life and death here. So that's where the parallel is. And that's a huge problem. Like if he aligned himself with a right-wing Nazi supporting group, that's where this all started.
Strong man, like coming in, trying to weaponize the government and take away things from the people, programs that would keep us safe, our immigration policies, which he's behind.
He's firing people that need a paycheck because he doesn't ever have to worry about a paycheck. The richest guy in the world,
our
even
FDA,
now.
Our USDA, the USAID, which we talked about preventing HIV for low-income people in other countries. Did he forget about COVID? Does he not realize that disease spread?
They even took all the funding away from Alzheimer research, and they returned it after there was this huge backlash. And we have a president that's going to be 80 years old. So maybe he's like, oh, duh. I'm like, who knows? I doubt he even thinks that way because he's going to have the best healthcare ever, even though he already did because he's a billionaire. Yeah. But guess who's paying for his healthcare? All of us. Yeah. And millions of dollars for his golf games.
Develops lots of new medications and treatments.
Yeah.
For not only us, but for the world.
No, I know. And that was the article I was reading with the people that were afraid to speak out. They all came forward. There was 3 in particular for this article, but 2 of them stayed anonymous because they were afraid of the backlash.
Yeah.
And they're probably going to be in litigation because they were wrongfully terminated.
And I think it's starting, people are starting to be like, wait, why this? Like little things. Mom the other day was like, I don't understand why he cut the national parks budget. Like,
if it
as a lower income family,
they start to question.
We could go to the parks. They have showers at the parks. The parks are generally well maintained because it's national parks. They get federal money. And it was a very inexpensive way to do something fun as a family because you can't afford Disney.
Go to Disneyland, yeah.
Exactly. And she's like, we wanted to do a travel across the country, like rent a camper, and I'm not even sure if we're going to be able to do that. It's like.
That's what happens when you elect somebody who wants to gut, and take. And all the people that voted for him, didn't they? He kind of said he was going to do all this stuff. He's a big liar and a scumbag.
He said it with the underlying silver lining of
50%.
Prices are going to go down and you're going to be able to afford eggs.
But was that all that they were listening to?
Prices of food and stuff, and then eggs. It's like that is basic. Like you're at the grocery store, you can't afford, and you're putting stuff back. That's hard hitting.
But people did
that's
all
like
these
an everyday experience.
Did all these momos not realize?
I think they didn't listen.
Did they tune out as soon as they heard what they wanted to hear? Because he said, "I'm coming back with a vengeance. I'm going to pardon all the January 6ers. I'm going to come after all my enemies and use the full force of the justice system." Like he's weaponizing our own Justice Department. I'm going to gut this. I'm going to drill, baby, drill. Like they didn't think he was going to take away or try to Social Security and wildlife refuges and look, I can't even talk right today. And national parks.
Take away basically everything. Everything. America.
He's going to gut America. But he kind of said that he was going to do something. Maybe not all, but he said he was going to do something. And those idiots still voted for him.
Problem I think is he rants and he's always saying like crazy things like windmills cause cancer. Literally, that's what he said. Windmills cause cancer. It's the sound. The Mike blowjob thing. The guy's genitals in the shower.
Oh, but that was the same Arnold Palmer thing, or the golfer? Was that different genitals guy?
Yeah, the Arnold Palmer. What I'm saying. All these mixed in things, and you get lost in it. and then you hear something that you like, and you're like, you feel good, like you're entertained.
I don't know. I can't. I just am not like. I don't think like that. So no, I can't. I can't rationalize how people get
I'm not
lost.
Going to say they're irrational. I think they are radicalized. I think that that's what's happening, and the bad things don't sound bad yet until you see them in effect, and then you're like, wait a second, what's going on? Oh wait, he did say that, didn't he? You know, like the realization when it's actually real. Like he says a lot of things.
So they thought that that was just more Trump bluster, and now they're surprised that he actually is doing all the things that he said he would do, and then some, and then even taking away things that he never said he would do, and is trying to get those. And by the way,
he's going to cut national park budgets because no one agrees with that. Like he did it.
There's some things that he didn't say he would do, but what about all the things he did say? Right?
Yes, but what I'm saying to your point, you're like, and the things people didn't know he was going to do, like. That was one of the things.
And by the way, the main thing that he said he would do was bring prices down, and they continue to go up.
Yep.
So hopefully those same people are like, wait a second, that is exactly what's happening now is the opposite of what you said. Where are your promises? I'm seeing articles of MAGA twats that are now having like buyer's remorse.
Yeah, my dad joked about jumping off of a bridge because their retirement portfolio is in shambles.
Are you going to ask him?
What?
Okay, so next election, are you going to vote for Democrat? You're not going to ask him because
I would ask him, but I know the exact answer that I'm going to get from him. Of it's not Trump's fault. He's fixing Biden. It's going to be fine.
But it wasn't like that until Trump came and did all this. So it doesn't happen where people inherit that.
He's a businessman. He's a billionaire. He knows what he's doing.
That's what your dad would say even now.
Yeah.
Even with his retirement completely blown. Like that to me, like. I'm going to stop worrying about people like your dad because, like, he's out of his mind.
Yeah.
Something's really, or maybe he doesn't have one. I'm sorry to offend. That to me is somebody with like 2 brain cells. I'm sorry.
No, I literally said to my mom, and my mom is always, I don't know if she pretends to be dumb, but she can't do any, like, she struggles with a lot of things, especially with anything technology. But she actually asks questions.
Like, I can't slam her, but anyway.
Yeah. But like, I can show her, like, if I show you something, you know how to do it. If I show her.
She just one ear out the other.
And I show her multiple times. Like, it took hours to get her logged into YouTube because she couldn't figure out. She kept typing the password wrong. And I was like.
How old are they? They're not, don't even tell me. They can't be that old. I'm probably older than them.
No, you're not. They're way older than you.
All right. Don't tell me. It's fine. Yeah. But they sound.
Late 60s, you know?
What did you, oh my God. Yeah, they're way older than me. Thank God. But,
they had me in their mid 40s.
I cannot believe your dad reminds me of in that article, the one guy that said he would still vote for Trump actually had his wife deported. And he said he would still vote for it. He's like, the system's broken. How has it been for you? Oh, it's been a nightmare. It's been terrible. Would you still have voted for Trump? Yeah. Because I think he's still trying to fix it. His wife was deported. Yeah. And they're newlyweds. And now he has to hire an attorney. And he said it's so difficult. And the whole system is broken, but he would still vote for Trump because he thinks he's going to fix it. I guess he bought the slogan that says Trump will fix it. But so far, what has he fixed? Even the MAGA twats are all saying like nothing's fixed. It's been like chaos for the past couple of months and nothing's fixed. And all the prices continue to go up. And then on top of that, they lost all their money.
And their wives.
And in his case, his wife. And the moron would still vote for Trump. What a fool. I hope she is very happy with her new boyfriend with a big dick back in Colombia, and that he ends up divorced. Like, obviously, if I found that out, you know what I'm saying? Like, talk about betrayal. Think about you being her, and she finds out that he would still vote for the same person that got your ass deported. Tell me that you would not be out at the bar that night and getting his ass back. I'd literally file for divorce the very same day.
I would hope she already has.
Now she might have no choice. She's in Colombia.
Yeah.
Well, actually, she was in a detainment facility, but will be deported. Like
she's in the worst because she's basically in a prison right now.
She's in a prison, and they're treated.
And his husband is giving interviews saying, "Yeah, I'd still vote for Trump."
Yeah.
That is.
She might not know, but I think they should have put like a little byline, whatever it is, like on the article that says, as of the print date, she did not know that he said this. We'll update you on what her thoughts are, because I want to hear the backlash when she finds out that this loser would still vote for the same moron that would deport his poor wife.
That'll be hopefully next week. You can let us know what she had to say. I'm very intrigued.
I'll do some digging. But that's the mindset of your dad and this loser dweeb that would think that this is okay. Like, what the dude, vote for, I mean, and by the way, God knows they probably knew that they were already skirting the system because she did not have the legal right to be here. So, and he still voted for somebody who said, I'm going to deport all the illegal scumbags and blah, blah, blah.
Because they won't come for mine.
They don't think about anybody else but themselves, and they think that they are immune, right? Just like the farmers who voted for Trump, and they're like, just don't deport my workers, because what am I going to do? So there's farms already that have already, like, they're out of business.
Yeah. Which means, again, which we predicted from the start, higher prices for Americans. It's only been
a couple months.
Because no one wants to be paid pennies per pound to pick stuff out in the fields all day. And you're working on pesticides, chemicals, all kinds of stuff. It's dangerous. You're cutting. No American wants to do that job. So why not let people who do want to do that job and want to make money and want to work hard do that job? I mean, technically it was their country less than 200 years ago. All of California and most of Texas was Mexico.
I feel like we're in a different country, even just in the past couple months. And it's like a shit country that I don't want to be in. Look, I literally got choked up and I'm out of my drink. I literally, like, I can't believe I said that. I'm so patriotic. Like, I always said I love America. I can't even imagine any place else in the world where I'd want to be. And I literally got choked up because I'm obviously having this, like, mental issue now because I'm fighting, like, I guess it's depression. I don't know. Let's just call it what it is.
How long has it lasted? Technically, if the sadness lasts more than 2 weeks, it's depression.
It's more than 2 weeks.
Okay, then you're depressed. Yes. Yeah. I'm not a doctor, and
but I have to keep on keeping on. But I don't think you normally get choked up if it's not something that's meaningful to you. And as soon as I said it, I felt bad because I never thought I would say that. But, like, what's going on in our country is not right. It's not right. And I'm finding comfort. I will say this, like, I was watching Three's Company earlier, like, just like cleaning the kitchen, doing stuff. Golden Girls. We talked about Knots Landing last week.
Yeah.
Like, I am finding comfort in, like, these shows where there's either nostalgia or there's some kind of, like, childhood memory or that they don't focus on anything bad.
It's very light.
It's light, but even when it's dark, it's light and it's confronted by humor and humanity and kindness. And I'm just finding a lot of light with that and a lot of comfort. And it's crazy. It's kind of crazy. And there's some other stuff too. Like, there was a more recent, Hacks. Hacks on Max is so, I mean, it just makes me feel better about life. But I think
have you been watching Hacks recently?
Yeah, season 4 just premiered with, like, a 2-episode.
Okay, I didn't see it, but is the girl I like, is she still on it? Okay, yes. Okay.
Yeah. The one that you got confused about.
Yes, exactly. I love
the
her.
Other
and
two,
I know you think she's kind of obnoxious, but I think
she's growing on me. You were right. Like, she's
so weird and just herself all the time, and she exercises her power in good ways. Oh, that's all I'll say. I don't want to give away any spoilers.
But there's and not so dingbatty and, like, trust fundy, clueless, but you met her. She has red hair. Don't say her name, but there's somebody that we both know that has that same kind of exuberance. And do you know who I'm talking about?
I think so, yes.
Okay. Like, this girl, the one that will remain nameless, will go up to, she thinks, like, she will speak in front of anybody. She'll get up there and sing a song. Like, she will not, like, that's the kind of person that we need as, like, a Democratic leader somewhere, at least in city council, somewhere, somebody who's so, like, over the top outspoken, but not an asshole like DT. No. Like, somebody whose, like, heart is in the right place, but maybe is, like, a little too much sometimes, but that's what we need. We need more, like, Bernie and Berniettes and like that type, and the person that
Yes.
will remain nameless, and less of the like scripted Josh Shapiro, like governor of Pennsylvania, or anybody right now in the Trump administration. Like, get them all out, and let's start with like fresh and like hopefully younger, cooler, like maybe not politician type, like
Yeah, just regular people who are in touch, like Cori Bush's, who
AOC was a bartender. Like
Cori Bush lived in her car with her kids.
boy, yeah. Look, hardworking people of all like backgrounds. Those are the people that I would want,
but
working government
to meet your standards and aesthetically pleasing.
Well, because I think that the attractiveness principle
will get them more attention.
Yeah, and it's gonna keep them winning. You know,
and it will keep the right angry. Like, I feel like with AOC, they like showed videos of her when she was like 17 dancing with her friends on like choreographed on the roof, and it was like, this is adorable. I don't know why you're trying to like shame her. And they're like, look, she dropped down. She's almost twerking. This is like bad decorum. She shouldn't be in office. And it's like, have you seen like any of the people from your show? Like
what about the rapists? What about the rapists
around on stage and drunk on Fox News, and now our defense secretary?
Yeah, that's, I mean,
throwing axes and nearly killing a drummer in Central Park.
Let he without sin cast the first stone, baby.
Cast the first axe.
I mean, but these people like in glass houses are throwing like massive boulders. So it's the hypocrisy is what gets me. It's why I was so fired up about Karen Reed. I'm still blown away by the rancor in Massachusetts. Like, I cannot believe the conspiracy. That's again my interpretation of all the evidence, but I really do believe that she's innocent. And by the way, I don't even I like her less every time she talks. Do you know? She said something about O.J. Simpson, and it was almost something like I can't remember.
Yikes! Never compare yourself to O.J. Simpson when you're on trial for murder.
It'll come to me at some point. Like, but I just couldn't believe like some of the things that came out of her mouth. She said I would have cheered.
For O.J.?
Yeah. You know, like when the guilty, I think that's where she said it, but she said I would have cheered like at that verdict.
Yikes.
Because she, like, that to me makes her so unlikable. Like,
yeah.
And I still believe in her innocence. Like,
of course. I mean, that should not affect whether she committed the murder.
Exactly. I mean, I'm having a tough time with a lot of things that are happening, but this Karen Reed stuff, it's like, I don't know. Maybe it's because it's emblematic of all the other things that are going on in society, that it's like, if you can't trust our court system, and you can't trust judges, and you can't trust the state to give, look at what happened with the x-rays and that girl that is serving 31 years. This poor girl, she's already slow. She already doesn't have a lot of money. All she wanted to, and by the way, I don't mean it to be demeaning. It was, intellectually challenged is what I meant. It's still happening, and it's happening more and more. And it's like, who's going to save the day? It's not going to be the feds, our government. We need saving from them. What do we do? We all just have to keep fighting, right? Yeah. Like all the free Karen Reed people, all the people that are for justice. I'm a John O'Keefe person. I am for John O'Keefe, but I don't stand by his family. His family has screwed up too. They're suing every which way but loose. Anybody that'll give him a dime. They're sitting with the people that probably killed him. If I think they killed him.
Yeah.
Based on what I've learned. And they're sitting with them, and they're kind of like, taunting Karen Reed and being like, I don't know. They're just not being likable. So it's hard to like pick a side except for justice. And this guy who's dead now can't speak for himself and can't defend himself. So I'm for his ass. I'm not for dirty cops. I'm not for his family. I'm not for Karen Reed. But what's happening is like right now is an innocent woman is probably going to she is going to trial.
Yeah.
And fighting for her life. And this other girl, like actually, this was something interesting. If we can go back to this chick who is in prison now, serving 31 years for killing that baby. I personally think it was a false confession. I personally think, the x-ray was tampered with. And here's the thing I didn't share earlier was that he had already had an injury. he had a pre-existing injury that this could, and had all of these health problems. Like he didn't go in there super healthy that day with
Yeah.
no prior injuries, and all of a sudden he had stuff going on. The family went, so there was this lawyer, her name is Zellner. You'll see her in like, she's written books, she's in podcasts, she's on shows, I think she used to be part of, the Innocence
The Innocence Project.
Yeah.
It's a great organization.
I'm so inarticulate today. Like I can't even.
No, I
can't
got
even
you.
speak. Like that's how far gone I am. I guess it is depression.
That's another
interfere with your ability to like.
And I think you need to stay off these trials. I know from personal experience of people in my life who watch way too much and then they start getting paranoid about life and depressed because everything seems. But it's like you're seeing cases. There are hundreds of millions of us. And we live every day. Like you're seeing a few isolated cases that we're focusing very intently on.
Yeah, I never watched the trials, but I
and you see
listen
the worst,
to and I
you're
take
seeing the worst of humanity in these carefully hand selected for television like cases.
That's true. No, that's true. And I need to be more focused on the Pyrenees dog that led that kid to safety.
Yeah, and you felt better when you were watching the classic shows, the fun stuff, the light stuff.
But how is that helping any of these people, though? How is that helping animals by me distracting myself with Three's Company?
Yeah, but millions of people are watching all of this stuff, and you don't have to be the one to save the day. Like, you have to worry about yourself first. Like, you can't save Karen Reed if you were
not from herself. She keeps spouting off this dumb shit. I would have cheered for OJ. You fucking bitch. Like, how? I hope somebody reams her for. I hope I mean, look, I'm a proponent of hers.
Yeah.
But what the fuck? Like, seriously, what the fucking
I don't understand.
Fuck?
Like, I don't understand it. In any way, how it would make you look good, why you would say that, first of all, or who you think is going to be relatable.
How's that? I mean, I guess in the African American community, somebody will, but I just don't, I don't know. I mean, everybody I think even they know that he did it. Like,
yes.
This is ridiculous. Enough is enough. And I don't think any murderer should be glorified, whether or not, like the Mark Furmans of the world planted evidence and did stuff.
Luigi Mangione, then it's a question mark, question mark, question mark.
I mean, look, I mean, the tough part is that I still hate what he did. And the more we talk about it, the more I feel like, I feel guilty because I do feel like he's a martyr. I think that he's a martyr for a cause. He should have gone about it differently.
Yeah.
Because 100%. What I would have liked to see, when I said I hope he got away with it, is because I wanted that movement to be extended.
Yes.
And now we've totally switched gears. So fuck Karen Reed right now, but I still hope she gets off and sues the shit out of them. That being said, I do want to talk about Luigi now that you brought it up, because I had a lot of like, guilt might not be the word, but I had like,
revelations.
I had like a post-traumatic experience from what we talked about. And then even subsequently outside of this podcast, the revelations, yes, but I felt like I wanted that movement extended while he was on the lam, because there's been outside of that one guy being gunned down and being made an example of, there's been no change. In fact, the healthcare companies have insulated themselves further, now they have more security, and now they're spending even more money on protecting them and not giving to the people that are, I think, even more disenfranchised now.
Yep.
They're denying probably more. I would bet anything. And I don't know this.
The CFPB is gone, so all their billing things, who knows? There's no one to.
There's no checks and balances.
The only people you can go to complain is the insurance company, and they have the ultimate power.
Right. And if you complain, let me talk to your supervisor. If the supervisor's in on it, like that's their paycheck. They're not going to give that up to help your ass. That's why I wish
there's no one on your side with the insurance companies when their motive is to make a profit.
I think why I'm having a tough mental health, I guess, month is because there's nobody on our side, even in our government.
Except for Bernie.
And others like him, yes.
And others like him, yes. I will say we do have a nice little pod.
There's some great people, so I am inspired by them. But I just feel like when you are up against the cops, the government, like all these people that are supposed to, as a citizen, have your back, and you have to protect yourselves from them. That's the hard part. Healthcare companies, like that's the hard part. There was you remember that guy from The Sixth Sense with Bruce Willis? His name is Haley Osment.
Haley Osment.
Haley
related
Joe.
to Emily Osment?
I don't even know who Emily Osment is. Anyway, he was like a little kid in The Sixth Sense. I don't think you were even born yet. It was like maybe 2001. So now he's like older. You know, child stars, they have these problems later on.
Wait, is that the I See Dead People kid?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically he was just arrested in Mammoth for like being intoxicated and like whatever. It was like in the morning, like maybe he shouldn't have been drinking, but big deal, right? Whatever. It turns out like he had a house in Altadena and the insurance company hasn't paid $1 yet. He's fighting with them. He may have to sue them. They haven't paid anything yet. This was like 6 months ago. You pay for insurance. Exactly. You pay a lot, and especially in California, for insurance, and then your house burns down.
They're going to try to wiggle out of every dollar they can for that.
So we can't even like, and so Vladimir Trump and Elon Musk are there dismantling the U.S. government. Where's the watchdog that's going to say, hey, you're not paying these claims, you pay or else? That's the government. If the government's not there to do it, there'll be nobody. So even celebrities, even child stars who are up in arms.
Our governor has the power too, because they were threatening, like,
can Gavin Newsom do something?
Well, he did the lightest measure possible. He told them that if they don't offer insurance to the majority, that they can't operate in the state at all.
That's too
They
low.
can charge what they want.
Right. That's too
extra
little.
To whatever, but they just can't not offer coverage in the high risk areas. That's all he did. So he does have the power to obviously to ban them from being able to operate in the state. So that is the threat. We're one of the largest markets in the world. So you tell them, you want to serve our citizens. These are the rules. These are what we want. You have to pay the claim.
He needs to. So maybe that is.
He is in the corporate pockets of all these companies.
That's what needs to change, though. Like that kind of like mentality of I'm going to do the bare minimum. That's not going to win us.
Just so I can say I did what I could. I did something.
That's not going to win us elections. We have to. That's why Gavin needs to go. Because Gavin
needs to go.
He wants to run for president. I know that slogan. For a fact.
Gavin
is that a slogan? Gavin needs to go.
You just made it up. Gavin needs to go. They should have used that.
I can come up with way better than
that.
On a different
Gavin
day.
Needs to go. Gavin needs to go. You know,
I like Deport the Space Nazi better. That is some good. Seriously, there was 1 million of them from that Hands Off march, and everybody whose picture was taken with their signs that were really creative, they seemed so happy.
Yes.
Maybe that's like
because they found a way that they can feel like they're making a difference.
Yeah. And they can give back and help
community.
People.
Like you're surrounded by people who also are like, we want him gone. Like I'm fed up with this. Hands off. You know,
I love it.
And I think that's what we need.
I love it.
You were saying you feel like, you know, if I don't do something, someone else is not going to do something. It's like a lot of people are doing something. You just don't always see it. And I think that's important. I'm glad it's getting media attention. And I'm glad Bernie Sanders is, you know, selling out thousands of whatever stadiums, for people.
It was 36,000, even in Idaho, in like full on MAGA country. And there was actually a plane that went above. So the Trump administration knew they were having this. Did you know this already?
No, I didn't.
And they flew a plane that says Idaho is Trump country. And AOC is like, you see that shit up there? I was pretty sure that this is our country, not Trump country. But that's that. Whether you're a Republican, an independent, or a Democrat, like I think we can all agree this is our fucking country. I don't want a king. This is not Trump country. This is our country.
And I don't want a billionaire out of touch oligarch to get to control, like cut all of our social programs when he has all this money.
His entire administration is millionaires and billionaires.
Yeah.
Linda McMahon is a billionaire.
Yep.
Elon Musk is a billionaire. Donald Trump is a billionaire. All of his family that works and is a cancer in our government and society, because I just don't they don't care about anybody but themselves.
Yep.
I'm sorry. That is how I feel about them. Like,
I mean, what have they
am
done?
I hating on them?
Helping.
No, but am I liking them? No, I can't stand them. Really,
they're enriching themselves. I don't like
exactly. They're all millionaires. Ivanka married another
Kushner,
Kushner, and that whole family. The deal that they inked while during Trump's last administration, like it was probably worth billions and billions of dollars. If Trump wasn't president, they wouldn't have gotten that.
No.
They'd enriched themselves because they were probably going to all go, not bankrupt, but because they're billionaires. But you know,
with a tainted name though, like
had he
without
not
that money,
had he not gotten elected this time, I think it was the beginning of the end.
yeah.
Truly, this was a lifeline for that family, but at what cost? By the way, these are just our opinions. Like, what do we know, right? But at what cost? So this family is thriving, and all those morons in the Trump administration that are already millionaires and billionaires are thriving. But how many Americans are going to suffer over the next couple of years? That's where I'm trying to find, like, I got to find some peace, and then I got to get my fight back, and got to join the mentality of all these other people that are like, doing more,
yeah.
You know, because we gotta do more, not less.
It's like a puzzle, you know. You don't fit everywhere. You only fit somewhere, and you got to find out where you fit.
I wonder what other people that are going through, like, do you think what's going on in politics? Because, by the way, I'm not even that political a person. Like, imagine, like, I get so fired up about certain things I never would have even thought about 20 years ago. Do you think other people are also finding that things are so grave that everybody's got to step up?
I think especially the younger generations who, like, what our parents expected from us, we're not able to achieve. Like, your parents always like try to set you up to do better than they did. But now the parents are seeing, oh wait, they can't get that, and it's actually worse. They're going to wind up moving back in the house, and you're still working. You have no prospects of getting a house. Like, that's just a joke. We joked about that on the last set I worked on. It was like, oh yeah, our generation will never be able to afford houses. We're permanent renters. It's like,
it's so sad.
It's depressing so in a way, but that's what makes, like, the suffering causes you to want to do something. And I think that's why we're fired up and we want more, because we know it's possible. And it's expected. Like, this is the American dream. We should have something.
You seem very positive and optimistic.
I am, and you see the older generations, it's like stuck. It's like, even when you see you're being lied to, you're like, still gonna, he's joking.
No, those are people that are, they're intractable, they're unflappable. You're not gonna change your dad's mind.
No.
But I've given up on people like that. I'm going to give my energy to all those other
are the ones
people
who vote. That is the problem. Like, reliably vote.
That's
are least
that's a good point.
Able to be disenfranchised. Like, younger people, it's like, you're never going to be able to change. There's not enough of you, and people don't believe what you believe, which isn't true.
It's not true. There's more of the younger people.
Yeah, and in fact, like, if we were talking about bipartisan issues before, if we just did and focused on Medicare for all, it's like over 80% of the population wants a public health care program. A socialized healthcare program.
It should be Medicare for all, and I think it should be like college for all, like education 100%. For all.
We want to compete with the world. That is important.
Yeah.
China's
education is critical.
The most important thing. If we want to build the best bombs or whatever,
at least have access to it. No one's forcing you to get an education.
Like, at the most basic levels, exactly. Yeah. It should be something. If our country really cares about national security, that is incredibly important to have well-educated citizens.
They even gutted that.
Technology.
The Trump administration even gutted that. There was like a faction of the government that's focused on bringing Silicon Valley type ingenuity in the government, so they don't have to rely on outside organizations to come up with the next big AI, whatever, right? And exactly. They even gutted that department. The department no longer exists. So we are not only going to be able to compete on the world stage, but like, what's going to happen when all these other countries that are still going to keep on keeping on are ahead of us? We're supposed to be the ones setting the stage. And California, the fourth and sometimes the fifth largest economy in the world.
Yep.
If we're not the ones setting the standard, then what? You know, California should be showing America how it's done. And if it's just going to be more of Gavin all the time, like, no. And no Kamala. That to me is not forward thinking. Like, we've been there. I feel bad for the girl. I feel bad. I wish she was the president. Do I totally love her? No. But I think we'd be way better off. But I don't think that's not what's gonna.
It's not what America
free us, you know?
I think
there's some tyranny up in here.
And, you know, whenever you destroy something,
you gotta tear it down before you rebuild.
Exactly. And we can build it back better.
Build it back better. That's like the $6 million man, another comfort show. But it doesn't hold up. Remember, we'll build him stronger, better than ever before.
I've heard that, but that was, I forgot that was where the Biden, slogan, the Build Back Better for their.
They probably they got it from
that's exactly
Lee
what they got it
Majors.
from.
Yeah.
I was like, that's a good slogan. And usually the Democrats, they never come up with good names.
Remember Stronger Together?
Yes.
Ugh, that was so lame. That's why I love the hands-off shit. They came up with some good stuff. They came up with, oh my God, I was dying. There was some amazing, I only remember that was like the last one I read, but there's so many that are way better.
Yeah.
So good. I love Hands Off. I love it. I love it. Can we not do a Hatespiration or an F Who we're going to start doing like an F Who, just like,
yeah.
I don't know if we've called out so much already and I'm having like, you may not have like mental health, or do you?
Yes.
You do? Okay. Because if you are, you're dealing with it better than me. So I would like to end this episode with you giving me some advice because you're coming across, your energy is positive and youthful and optimistic.
Toxic positivity is what
it's not toxic though. If it were, I'd find it more humorous, but I'm like getting a hey, you pull yourself together type vibe from you. And I want to appreciate it and learn from it. So am I reading you right? Am I getting that vibe?
Yeah.
Like I need to pull myself together?
Yes. And I think habits, sometimes, like you're very into the true crime or whatever, but obviously it's not the best for you right now.
It's too much of a good thing. I need to balance out with more not slandering and Three's Company.
You need more light. You need, let the light
hacks,
in. The best disinfectant. And read that book, The Power of Now, because I feel like a lot of the things that you're like starting to come on, you're like, it will help you really realize what it is that you need. And it's like, it's all inside you. Everything you need is already inside you. You just have to figure out where your place is. And I think that, the optimism comes from this podcast. Like, I like talking about politics. I like,
I hate it because I get upset. I actually would rather I wanted to talk about podcasts.
Defeating a lot of the time.
Right now it's murky. Especially
for years. I mean,
well, for you,
Bernie, we should have, and it's like, I've been feeling the weight of this.
I keep messing with this mic. I hope this isn't a problem for you.
You're good. I'm watching their waveform.
No, all right. Well, let's end on that note then, because not to all roads don't lead back to Bernie, but the past two episodes have, and I agree. Like, I'm feeling very inspired by his ass.
Yes,
and AOC, who I was not a fan of before.
Even though things, being crushed by that, it's like there are other things like I talked about at the beginning of the episode, the mountain lions. Like,
you're right. There
are small problems that you can address, even though you feel depressed. Like, you can still make a change. That is going up in a major city, and this woman has been fighting for years. It's like nothing comes all at once.
Nothing comes easy either.
Nothing comes easy. Nothing good comes easy. It takes time and effort, and you find your meaning and your place in that. And it's like,
what about all the what about all the negative people that would be like, well, it's coming easy for Donald Trump right now?
Yeah, it's not going to be easy for him. I mean, he dodged a lot of suits by being, becoming president again, and he's not going to he's done after this. Like,
he's trying.
No matter what he says, no matter what he tries,
they're already trying to put legislation. So
it's never going to happen.
I hope so.
It's scaring people, and I feel like they're using it as like the left media is using it as like a fear mongering tactic, make people scared, and
it's working.
Attention, it keeps your attention. Yeah, no, and they're not focusing on what they need to focus on. And I think that's the.
Let's not give them any hints. Yeah,
exactly. The main point is focus on what you need to focus on. If you can't feel, that whatever you need to do, you can do. You find something.
Yeah,
find something small. Like, I don't know, foster a dog or whatever. Just something that benefits the people around you. Find a way to do that. Help an old lady through the door, and anything. Like, show kindness. We've lost kindness and humanity and respect for other people. It's like no understanding of your surroundings. It's like, I'm in the world alone. It's not like that. And I feel like we've lost that sense of community. And once we rebuild that, I feel like people will be, more willing to help each other because we're all in this together. And I feel like that division is a big thing. The left or right, it's not that. We're people, and everyone has their spots. Like, this is the first time you've been through depression, Everyone goes through it sometimes. We're all humans. We've lost that.
Yeah, I need to snap out of it for real. Like this has
Give
been like
yourself
the
a
second
lot
podcast in
of
a row where I'm like,
grace and, time. Nothing, like we said, nothing happens quickly. And you're going to learn something through the process. Maybe this is how you figure out what you want to do next or help maybe
I
in a
do.
bigger way than you have before.
I mean, I do have a lot more empathy for people that go through mental crisis because you wonder, like, what got them to that? Like,
Yeah.
how did they get that bad? And I had a tinge of that. I'm feeling a tinge of
Yeah.
that. Like, and so I know how it starts.
And it's okay to seek
Firsthand.
help. Like, always say, like, therapy is good. You don't have to do it forever.
I did therapy a while back because I really thought I would get something out of it. And maybe I just didn't have a good therapist, but
That
it was
is-
like online and whatever. And like, I just didn't feel like he really cared. I just felt like
as
he was
someone who's
someone
been
to
in
talk
therapy,
to, but
well, I just stopped like last year, but it took like, I was in therapy for like 8 years and
Oh.
probably 10 plus providers. Like, and you have
Wow.
to find your right person, the person that you can talk to and they will call you on your BS.
Yeah.
And it's like,
and give you honest advice because
Yes.
you need a way.
you need someone who's an effective sounding board with you. And our energy doesn't always click or you don't feel comfortable saying things with certain people. You find your person. So
Yeah.
I would say that because I've heard that a lot. Oh, I saw a therapist before and it's like, find someone else.
Yeah.
You probably have to see multiple people before you find your person.
It's like dating, and God knows,
It really is
I don't
because
have
you're
the energy
sharing
for that.
deep personal things with this person and you need to have that who can reflect that energy and give you what you need, give you some clarity. They're not
Yeah.
telling you anything you don't already know. They're just helping you see things clearly.
Anything else you want to talk about today?
No, I think that pretty much sums it up.
I felt like I got free therapy from you, so I appreciate that. I didn't even have
So
to
show,
date
and hopefully
any of
someone
these
else gets it
doctors.
too, and other people feel, everybody's been to therapy. Therapy is okay. Talk to someone if you need help.
I love that. And let's also take these final moments to remind everybody that these are just our opinions. Like, if we're going to come in here and slam somebody or judge somebody or call somebody out, it's completely our opinion based on what we know. It's not coming from a place of like being malicious or being like nasty. It's coming from a place of like, we're passionate about something and we
Exactly.
feel a certain way about something and we're going to say something.
And we live in
that's
a great country that allows us to say what we want. We're very lucky because even in other countries like Germany,
Yeah.
speech is restricted. And so we're very lucky. And like you said, everything is alleged. Our facts, we try, like I look things up during the episodes, but we might get things wrong.
We know some stuff, but
Yeah.
we don't know everything, and we certainly don't claim to be the end all.
Exactly.
And sometimes we're
Always
gonna
ask
misspeak.
questions and
Yeah.
do your own research.
Yeah. All that every day. What else do you want to say?
Love you.
Oh, love you.